G'day everyone, thank you for joining in. What we're going to do today is quickly get some Mellanox gear running Cumulus Linux via the magic of onie-installer. Alright, let's jump into it. Before we get too far, let's just look at the topology we've got. We've got a set of spine switches. We're not going to go into what each of them do right now, but we've got a set of spine switches. Spine 1, spine 2, pod 1, leaf 1, pod 1, leaf 2, pod 2, leaf 1, pod 2, leaf 2. Try and say that really quick. And they're all cabled up from their management port, E0, back to this little crappy 3650 switch that I just happen to have laying about. That's important because when these guys boot and onie-installer, or onie, is set, what they do is they look to DHCP, they look for instructions such as 1, get an IP address, but they look for an option 144 off the top of my head. And if that's present, it says, okay, I have to now go and pull down an image and I'll boot into that image. And I'll show you a bit more about that later, in minutes. Down south of the pods, I've got some Cisco switches, which is where I'm going to try and do some things like VXLAN, EVPN. Well, not on the Cisco switches, but I just treat that as if it was a server because I don't have any compute. The joys of being in the network team. So what we've got is south of the pods, we've just got a crappy switch, and beneath that crappy switch is an Odroid, which I'm just going to run iperf, and it's going to go over the fabric, out the other guy with another crappy switch, and hey, iperf client or iperf server, depends how I'm feeling at that particular time. Here's the fun and games though. We've got down here, and it's all cabled up via this crappy switch, which has a link back to the ubuntu switch. Yeah, you probably wouldn't do that in a production network. And it's got DHCP on it. So before we do that, I'll show you the back of the back of this kit. See, on the back of it, oh, my good friend Harry. You're a wizard, Harry. You've got the management ports. And as you can see, that's what I have patched into that little ubuntu switch. Anyway, let's get crack-a-lackin', as Marty from... Where was Marty from? It wasn't from Ice Age. Madagascar. That's it. He was in Madagascar. Alrighty. So, first thing you do, sudo apt-get. Obviously, if you're running Ubuntu, if you're running something like RHEL, yeah, go and seek help. Maybe you can ring IBM. I wish you all well in that. Sudo apt-get install, what is it called? isc-dhcp-server -y to satisfy all dependencies, and then you hit enter. Now I've already done this, so I don't need to hit enter. It may be DHCP isc server, but go and hit CWNE11 on YouTube. That's where I learned to do it actually. So after you've done that, it's pulled down all the dependencies, it's installed, you now have the file, and you can make a modification to it. So for you guys would be sudo nano, or if you're really old, you can use vi etc dhcpd.conf. What I recommend you do, actually, if you're just starting out in Nix and you don't want to mess with stuff, just copy the file to, oh well, the same thing, /etc dhcpd dot backup, because I am spastic. Well, so now you have a backup should you need it. I don't think you will, but it's there. That's a good tip anyway when you do future things in Cumulus. So we are going to modify this file. Sudo nano. We want to modify etc. God, I'm having one of them days. Maybe it's stage fright. Alrighty. Let's make this mofo a bit bigger. That's Mendo. Oops. And that's why you make a backup, because you do stupid things like that. So what I did was I cheated. There is already really good examples in this file, and all you have to do is uncomment them out. As I said, on my network, my ubuntu network, my out-of-band management network is 4.4.4.0/24. Yeah, and you can see that as demonstrated by my diagram. If you want to go back, I'll do that. As you can see here, all we're doing is saying the subnet is 4.4.4.0/24. I'm giving out .10 through .50. I've only got a handful of devices, so I don't need anything else. Yeah, optional napkin.io. Hey, I want to register that domain, by the way. I shouldn't have probably used it because it ain't mine. Anyway, napkin. Me and my mate Jacob are going to start it, and it's going to go worldwide. Prestige, worldwide. Anyway, this is big here, and you can find this in all the Cumulus Linux documentation. Option default URL. This is the option. I think it's 144. Correct me if I'm wrong. What it does is it goes and looks for this during the boot up process. And what we're saying is, hey, this option is there. You can go to 4.4.4.100 and pull down something called onie-installer, and you'll boot from that. That is the boot instruction. So when the Cumulus Linux wants to boot, it looks for a file called onie-installer. And the cool thing is, that is just a symbolic link. So this represents all you need. Quickly look at that, get a mental photo, and let's exit out. I don't want to save anything. So we know this is Ubuntu. So if you did sudo apt-get install, what is it, Apache 2 from memory? Yeah, you can go and do that. And -y, because there's going to be a lot of dependencies, especially for Apache. And with all the latest bugs, I think Apache, according to Department of Homeland, who I subscribe to, I think there was one for Apache yesterday, day before. Anyway, I digress. So if you're running Ubuntu, you're going to want to list the var www HTML directory. And I've got one here called onie-installer. It's just a symbolic link to that guy. So if you want to make a symbolic link, you just go ln onie-installer to cumulus blah, and you just hit enter, and away you go. So now what have we done? We've got the DHCP running. We've gone over our little topology. What you didn't see was how to go to the Cumulus website and pick what you want. So when you go to Cumulus, you want Cumulus Linux, you want 3.7.1 CPU for me, because I'm running Mellanox, the 2410s, 86. And voila, you are left with this. And you just hit download. You do need a valid account for that. But that's that. So, Linux IP nay. Actually, let's do this differently. Let's cat out the var lib dhcp leases file and see what we've given out. Okay, we've given out a lot, but the good thing is, look, we got some Cumulus kit. 8A. Yep, there we go. So it's all going to say, hey, I'm Cumulus, because it doesn't know anything else. But it looks like, oh, there's the Odroid, which is not a Pi, by the way. It looks like we're up and dancing, and that's one of the most painless DHCP installs. If you run Juniper, yeah, DHCP is a pain in the butt. It was easier on Cisco. But anyway, having it on the Pi, yeah, it's just great. What else is there to get these guys up? Oh, and just to prove that we have booted, that the Cumulus boxes have booted, got an IP, and installed Cumulus 3.7.1. Let's have a look. We got .17 down there. So SSH user is Cumulus at 4.4.4.17. That's one of the ones we pulled down. I hope this works, otherwise I look like a real idiot. Dum 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 da 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 dum da da dum. Oh, this is not looking promising. Oh, that's Mendel. If I could spell Cumulus. Ah, voila. We are in. It's picked up. Let's make sure it hasn't booted. Let's just make sure this didn't actually come from Mellanox. There's weird stuff going on with Mellanox Cumulus. Sometimes it'll come from Mellanox with Cumulus on it with Oni not enabled. Other times it comes with the Mellanox own OS. And let's have a look. Net show system. Woohoo! We's dancing, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Look at that. That's Mellanox running Cumulus 371 IP nay. Oh yeah. So this is rad. Let's end this here. Just a quick one. What we achieved. We've gone over our topology, spine, leaf, spines. They're not going to really do much in the future. If you come from an old school networking background, kind of like your route reflectors, all they do is say bounce it back down essentially. The fun and games is happening from our leaves down, where we're going to try and do an MLAG. Well, these guys will just see a port channel north. These guys will see MLAG, CLAG, south. And then we're going to try and drive some traffic. That's key because we want to talk about hashing a bit later on as we do some of these labs. So we've got the iPerf server, iPerf client, well, either or actually. And the last one was we had off crappy switch 1. I think that we've actually named them dumb switch. Just our management server, which is nothing more than a Pi 3 in a Lego case in the data center. Yeah, and that's all that it does is give out DHCP. It's got Apache installed just so you can pull down that one file for the onie-installer process. So that was it. There ain't a lot happening. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll kick into the new one in a minute. Ciao.